Okay, I'm going to show the area model uh, with the division. We went over the partial quotient method, and now this is the area model. This is the one that we are learning this week. Okay, the steps are very much the same as the partial quotient. It just looks a little bit different. So to start off, I have 3,243 divided by 6. And what I've already done is I've set up my rectangle box, and I've put my 6 at the top, and I put the 3,243 off to the right-hand side. Okay, so I'm going to ask myself, can 6 go into the first number, which is 3? It cannot, because 3 is smaller. So I ask myself, can 6 go into 32? And I know 6 can go into 32. So now I'm going to determine 6 times what will get me the closest to 32. And if you need to, use your matrix, use a multiplication chart if you need to for this step. So I know that 6 times 5 equals 30. Okay? So, using my powers of 10, I'm going to continue. So 6 times 50, and just a reminder, 6 times 5 is 30, so I put that down, and then I can just add my 0 here. So that equals 300. So then I go to my next power of 10. 6 times 500, that equals 6 times 5 is 30, and then I have 2 additional zeros, 1, 2, and that gives me 3,000. Now I'm trying to get as close as I can to 3,243. So 3,000 is pretty close. So I'm going to pull out 500 groups of 6. What I'm going to do is just draw a line like this to represent 500. Okay? And that equals 3,000. All right? And then I know 3,000, I'm going to subtract it from the original number. And that gives me 243. Okay? Now I'm going to start that whole process over again. So instead of using 3,243, this time I'm going to use 243. So I ask myself, can 6 go into 2? The answer is no. Can 6 go into 24? The answer is yes. And I know that 6 times 4 equals 24. If I use my powers of 10, 6 times 40 equals 240. Okay? And I know I'm trying to get to 243. 240 is really close to that. Okay, so I'm going to pull out 40 groups of 6. Gives me 240. I'm going to subtract that 240 from 243. And I'm left with 3. Now, I know 3 is smaller than 6, so this is my remainder. Okay? So now what I need to do is I need to add up these numbers over here. Now 500 plus 40, I know you can do that in your head. But if this was a more complex problem, always make sure the most important thing when you're adding these numbers up is that you are lining the numbers up properly. Okay? So 0, 4, 5. Okay? That's the correct way to line your numbers up. Do not do it this way, because this is an easy mistake some people make. They come over and they'll set it up like that, being in a hurry, and they'll say it's 9. Oops, can't see it. They'll say it's 900. Okay? So always make sure that is not correct. Make sure you line it up properly. So my answer to this problem is 540, remainder 3. Okay? So that is the area model. It's very much like the partial quotient. It's just set up a little bit differently with how we show it up here. Okay?